There is something remarkable about today, something powerful, something often overlooked. Most people wake up, check the clock, and treat today like it's just another page on the calendar. But what they don't realize is that today is not ordinary. Today holds the seed of your future. Today holds the opportunity that could change the entire direction of your life. Not tomorrow, not next week, not some distant someday. Today is the doorway, and you either walk through it or you stand still while the years pass you by. Most people are waiting. Waiting for the perfect time, the perfect season, the perfect set of circumstances. But the truth is, life doesn't hand you perfect conditions. It hands you time. And what you do with that time, especially the time you have today, determines everything. Every great success story began with someone making a decision in the present. Not when they had it all figured out, not when everything was comfortable, but when they looked at the day in front of them and said, this is it. This is where it begins. The tragedy is, we're taught to focus on the future while ignoring the present. We dream about the life we want, the success we crave, the freedom we hope to enjoy one day. But dreaming without action is just a wish. And action only exists in one place, today. There's no power in yesterday. You can't go back and fix the mistakes. You can't undo the bad habits. You can only learn, and there's no power in tomorrow either. Because tomorrow never shows up as tomorrow. It shows up as today. So if you don't learn to use today, you'll waste every tomorrow that ever comes your way. You see, the difference between those who rise and those who fall is simple. It's not talent. It's not money. It's not background. It's not opportunity. It's what they do with the same 24 hours you and I have. The achievers, the ones who build something meaningful, are those who respect today. They get up with intention. They don't waste the morning scrolling or complaining. They start the day with purpose. They make the calls. They do the work. They sharpen their mind. And they do it even when it's hard, because they understand something most people ignore. Today is the only thing that belongs to you. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. But today is your responsibility. Today is your leverage. And it's not just about doing big things today. Sometimes it's the small things that create the biggest shift. Reading 10 pages of a book, making one healthy choice, showing up to your commitments, writing down your goals, saying no to one distraction. These seem small in the moment, but stacked together over time, they build a life. That's how discipline works. It begins with today, not with an explosion of effort, but with a single decision. That's how growth starts, with a choice to use your time instead of lose it. Now, there's something else about today that makes it powerful. It's the mindset you bring to it. You can see today as a burden, or you can see it as a gift. You can drag your feet through the day, or you can step into it with gratitude and clarity. If you look closely, today gives you a chance to start fresh, a chance to improve, a chance to correct your course. You don't need to have the full picture. You don't need a 10-year plan carved in stone. You just need to honor the day in front of you. You need to wake up with the awareness that your actions today are connected to the results you'll see tomorrow. People often ask, how do I change my life? How do I get ahead? How do I stop feeling stuck? The answer is not in some big mysterious process. The answer is in how you use today. If you don't take control of today, someone else will. The world will distract you. Comfort will tempt you. Fear will delay you. And before you know it, a week is gone. A month is gone. A year is gone. But if you take ownership of today, if you decide that this day matters, you become unstoppable. Because the life you want isn't built in a moment. It's built in the moments you choose to live with purpose. And that starts the moment you open your eyes in the morning. It starts when you realize that this isn't just another Wednesday or another Saturday. This is your day, your time, your opportunity to shape the future you've been dreaming of. And once you see that, once you truly believe it, you'll never again treat today like it's just another day. Every day we are presented with choices, small ones, big ones, and sometimes ones that seem insignificant. But what most people don't realize is that those choices are not isolated moments. They are links in a chain that form the shape of your future. Your destiny is not something that just happens to you. It is something that is built decision by decision, moment by moment. The life you are living right now is the result of all the choices you've made up to this point. And the life you will live tomorrow will be the product of the choices you make today. Too often people believe destiny is written in the stars, something fixed, something you have no control over. That kind of thinking is dangerous. It gives you an excuse to live passively. It convinces you to wait for luck or timing or permission. But the truth is, the power has always been in your hands. Every time you say yes to growth and no to distraction, you shape your destiny. Every time you choose discipline over ease, purpose over pleasure, action over excuses, you're taking one more step in the direction of the life you want. You may not see the result immediately, but the compound effect of right decisions is inevitable. Look around you. Look at the people who are living with regret, frustration, or confusion. You will find a trail of decisions that led them there. It's not just about one bad choice. It's about the pattern of letting emotion rule over logic, choosing comfort over challenge, and avoiding responsibility. And on the other side, look at those who are living with fulfillment, freedom, and success. You will find a trail of consistent, intentional decisions that added up over time. No one becomes successful by accident. No one builds a legacy by chance. Every part of a meaningful life is carved out by choices made with awareness and courage. What makes this even more powerful is that you don't need to change everything in one day. You don't need to suddenly become a different person. You just need to start choosing better. If you don't like the direction your life is heading, don't panic. Just change the next decision. Because the moment you shift one habit, one thought, one behavior, you begin a new direction. And the beautiful part is every new direction begins with one step. So if you want to transform your life, start by transforming your decisions. People often underestimate how deeply their daily decisions impact their future. Skipping a workout seems small. Spending without a budget seems harmless. Putting off a task for tomorrow feels innocent. But repeated daily, those choices accumulate. They become your identity. They build a life that either supports your goals or suffocates them. The same way a single drop of water doesn't seem powerful, but over time it can carve through rock. That's the power of repeated choices. Every decision is like casting a vote for the kind of person you want to become. And with enough votes in one direction, your destiny shifts. Now think about the mental decisions you make, what you choose to focus on, what thoughts you entertain, what stories you tell yourself. If you constantly feed your mind with doubt, fear, and limitation, you'll live out those beliefs. But if you feed your mind with faith, discipline, and vision, your actions will rise to meet that standard. Your mind is like a garden, and your decisions are the seeds. What you plant today will grow. The question is, are you planting weeds or are you planting fruit, bearing trees? One of the most liberating truths in life is that you are not stuck. You are not locked into who you used to be. You can pivot, you can realign, but only if you are willing to choose differently. The power to rise is not in the hands of your boss, your government, your parents, or your past. It's in your hands, and every decision you make is either lifting you or limiting you. So when you wake up in the morning, you don't just get dressed or drink coffee. You're deciding how the rest of your day will go. When you choose to complain or to be grateful, you are deciding what energy you will live in. When you choose to be lazy or to take action, you are deciding whether you'll stay stuck or move forward. The people who go far in life are not always the smartest, richest, or most talented. They are simply the ones who take their decisions seriously. They understand that every yes is also a no to something else. They understand that time is limited and choices are powerful. So they think before they act. They pause before they speak. They count the cost of their habits. And because of that, they live lives that reflect vision, not chaos. So don't wait for a lightning bolt or some dramatic moment to shift your path. The shift begins with your next choice. Choose to learn instead of being entertained. Choose to listen instead of argue. Choose to invest in yourself instead of waste another hour. Each of those decisions may feel small, but when you stack them over time, they create momentum. And momentum is the force that carries people to greatness. You don't need a miracle to change your life. You need a series of wise decisions, repeated with consistency and backed by belief. because in the end, your life is nothing more than the sum of your decisions. And your destiny is waiting on the choices you make today. Everybody dreams. Everybody has a picture in their mind of the kind of life they would love to live. A beautiful home, financial freedom, meaningful work, good health, time with family, maybe even a little adventure. The vision is there, bright and vivid, but for most people, that's where it stays, in the imagination. The reason is simple. Dreams are not enough. Dreams by themselves are powerless. They don't build businesses. They don't pay bills. They don't make you fit or wise or wealthy. Work does that, and not just any work, but focused, consistent, deliberate work that starts long before the results show up. There's a dangerous idea floating around that success is about manifestation or positive thinking alone. That if you believe hard enough, it'll just come to you. But life doesn't reward wishes. It rewards effort. It rewards discipline. It rewards the person who wakes up and does the work even when they don't feel like it, even when the progress is slow, even when no one is watching. The marketplace doesn't care how big your dreams are. It cares what value you bring. And value is created through work, through action, through doing the hard things every single day, especially when it's easier not to. When you see someone living their dream, don't assume they got lucky. Look deeper, and you'll find years of sacrifice, late nights, early mornings, countless failures, and a relentless commitment to keep going. That's the price. You pay with effort, you pay with discipline, and you pay with patience, because no dream becomes reality overnight. There's no shortcut, no elevator to the top. There's only the staircase, one step at a time. And every step is a choice to keep moving forward when it would be easier to stop people say they want freedom. But freedom has a cost, and the cost is the work you put in when no one claps, when no one believes, when the results are nowhere to be seen. You can't just talk about the dream. You have to show up for it every day with your hands, with your mind, with your heart. The world is filled with people who started something but never finished, not because they weren't capable, but because they weren't consistent. They let the difficulty discourage them. They let the slow progress convince them it wasn't working. But success doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it shows up after months of silence, just to see if you were serious. It's easy to be motivated on the first day. Easy to get excited when the vision is fresh and the energy is high. But what matters is what you do on day 30 or day 90, when the initial excitement has faded and all that's left is the grind. What matters is whether you still show up when the mood is gone. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. The ones who get results are the ones who keep going, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Every minute you spend working on your goals is a vote for your future. Every time you choose to stay focused instead of distracted, to learn instead of scroll, to create instead of consume, you are building. You may not see it right away, but momentum is forming. Habits are solidifying. Strength is being built in silence. And eventually, that effort breaks through. Eventually, the compound effect of your consistent work starts to produce visible results. People will call it sudden success. They won't see the years you put in. But you'll know. You'll know it wasn't magic. It was your work, your sacrifice, your discipline, your refusal to quit. You have to ask yourself, how badly do you want it? Are you willing to do the work when it's not convenient? Are you willing to stay committed when it gets boring? Are you willing to push through resistance, fear, doubt, and fatigue to get what you say you want? Because the world doesn't owe you anything. It's not enough to want it. You have to be willing to work for it. You have to be willing to show up before the opportunity knocks. You have to prepare, develop yourself, sharpen your skills, and build your character so that when the door opens, you're ready. The truth is, your dream is possible. It is absolutely possible. But not for the person who waits, not for the person who complains, not for the person who gives the bare minimum. It's possible for the person who puts in the work. The one who says, this matters to me, and proves it with their actions. The one who doesn't just hope it happens, but builds the habits to make it happen. The one who understands that work isn't the enemy of the dream. It's the fuel. It's the bridge. It's the only way across the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And the beauty of work is that it compounds. It may feel slow now. It may feel invisible. But day by day, you're becoming someone stronger, sharper, wiser. You're stacking wins, even if they're small. You're building trust in yourself. And trust in yourself is the foundation of achievement. When you know you'll do the work, even when no one is looking, that's when real confidence is born. That's when you stop needing motivation and start running on discipline. Because now you don't just dream about the future. You're working for it, earning it, one action at a time. The future isn't something that suddenly appears one day out of thin air. It's built brick by brick through the choices you make repeatedly. And at the center of those choices are your habits. Not the things you do once in a while, not the bursts of motivation that show up now and then, but the things you do daily. Your habits are the quiet architects of your destiny. They work in silence, shaping your mindset, your character, your results, and eventually your entire life. Whether they're working for you or against you depends on one thing, what you've chosen to repeat. We live in a world that celebrates big moments. The promotions, the awards, the transformations. But behind every highlight, there's a backstage full of routine. The hours spent learning, the days spent practicing, the consistent decisions made when no one was watching. It's not the dramatic change that determines success. It's the subtle, consistent actions that create a compound effect over time. A single workout won't transform your body. Reading one book won't make you wise. Saving money once won't build wealth. But doing it over and over again until it becomes automatic, until it becomes who you are, that's what changes everything. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Everyone has goals. Everyone says they want to succeed, to grow, to improve. But only those who align their habits with their goals ever make real progress. It's easy to say you want to be fit, but if your habit is hitting snooze and skipping the gym, your actions are voting against your desire. It's easy to say you want financial freedom, but if your habit is spending without thinking and avoiding responsibility, your actions are pushing you further away. The truth is, your habits reveal what you truly value. Not what you say, but what you do. And here's the powerful part. You are not born with habits. You build them. You have the ability to design your days, to rewire your routines, to teach yourself to behave in ways that support your future. That means your potential is not fixed. If you're not where you want to be, it's not because you're broken or incapable. It's because your current habits are leading you in the wrong direction. And the moment you decide to take control, to reprogram your behavior, to create new systems, you begin the process of transformation. Building new habits doesn't require perfection. It requires repetition. It's not about getting it right every time. It's about showing up again and again, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. The brain learns through repetition. The body responds to rhythm. What once felt difficult becomes easier. What once felt unnatural becomes second nature. And eventually, what used to take effort becomes automatic. That's when you know you've built something real. That's when discipline becomes identity. One of the most powerful things you can do is to create a system that makes success inevitable. Not based on willpower or motivation, but based on structure. Wake up at the same time. Plan your day. Prioritize the hard things. Protect your focus. Feed your mind with something useful. Get uncomfortable on purpose. These may seem small, even boring, but greatness lives in the boring. Mastery lives in the repetition of what works. The person who does the right thing consistently will always outperform the person who does the amazing thing occasionally. And habits don't just shape what you do. They shape how you think, the way you talk to yourself, the way you respond to adversity, the way you view setbacks. These internal habits are just as important as the external ones. If you've built the habit of blaming others, you'll never take ownership. If you've built the habit of avoiding discomfort, you'll never grow. But if you build the habit of facing challenges, of speaking with belief, of acting with courage, then no matter what life throws at you, you'll respond from a place of strength. It's also important to understand that your environment either supports your habits or sabotages them. You can't consistently act in ways that go against your surroundings. So take control of what's around you, who you spend time with, what you consume, where you spend your attention. The smallest trigger can either reinforce the habit you want or pull you back into the habit you're trying to break. If you want to rise, create a space that supports your rise. Build a lifestyle that makes your ideal behavior easier and your self-sabotaging behavior harder. Every day is a vote. Every habit is a step. You may not see the results today, and that's okay. Habits are like seeds. You plant them long before you see the harvest. But if you water them daily, if you stay committed to the process, the results will come. The outcomes may take time, but the identity begins to shift immediately. With every repetition, you become the kind of person who shows up, who does the work, who follows through. And over time, that identity is worth more than any temporary win, because it's not about achieving one goal and then stopping. It's about becoming someone who can keep winning over and over again. In every area of life, there comes a point in life when you must realize that no one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to magically fix your problems or hand you the life you've been dreaming about. As comforting as it might be to believe that someone, someday, will arrive with the answers, the truth is that your progress, your growth, your success, it's all in your hands. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you begin to move with real purpose. Because when you stop waiting and start acting, everything begins to change. We live in a world that often teaches dependence. Wait for permission. Wait for approval. Wait for the right time. But waiting is not a strategy. Hoping is not a plan. And blame is not a solution. You cannot build a strong life while expecting someone else to build it for you. You cannot gain control while handing over responsibility. The power to change your life is not outside of you. It's within you. But that power only works when you take full ownership of your situation. It's easy to point fingers. To say you didn't have the right parents, the right teachers, the right circumstances. And while it may be true that life handed you a difficult starting point, your starting point is not your destiny. Many have started with less and done more, simply because they refused to stay stuck. They refused to be victims of their past. They chose to be students of it. They studied their pain. They studied their struggles. And then they made a decision. They were going to rise. You don't need someone to feel sorry for you. You don't need someone to come fix it. What you need is to stand up and say, this is my life. I'm responsible for it. No one else owes me anything. That mindset is rare, but it's also powerful, because when you take ownership, you unlock options. You see possibilities. You stop wasting energy on excuses and start investing energy into solutions. You start asking better questions. How can I grow? What can I do today to get better? Who must I become to deserve the results I want? That shift in mindset is where freedom begins. Because if you're waiting on someone to help you, you're already limited. If you're expecting someone to come fix your habits, your attitude, your situation, you'll be waiting forever. No coach, no mentor, no program, no system will work unless you do. Advice means nothing if it's not followed by action. Tools mean nothing if they're not used. Opportunities mean nothing if you're not prepared to take them. It's a tough truth, but it's also an empowering one. Because it means you don't have to wait anymore. You don't have to hope for someone to notice your potential or offer you a shortcut. You can start right now with what you have, where you are. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours, your journey, your responsibility, your effort. And when you own it completely, something happens. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to build real confidence, not the kind that comes from applause or compliments, but the kind that comes from knowing deep down that you are doing the work. Taking ownership also means accepting the consequences of your actions. If your habits have led to poor results, face that. If your procrastination has cost you time, admit that. If your lack of discipline has kept you stuck, confront that. There is no breakthrough without honesty. And honesty starts with the person in the mirror. The moment you stop lying to yourself is the moment you start changing your life. Now, that doesn't mean you'll never need help. It doesn't mean you can't learn from others or receive support. But help should amplify your efforts, not replace them. Support is not a substitute for self-leadership. Even when someone gives you guidance, it's still your job to apply it. Even when someone believes in you, it's still your job to believe in yourself. No one can want it more than you. No one can do the push-ups for you. No one can develop your character, your habits, your mindset. That work is yours, and the beautiful thing is, once you embrace this truth, you begin to build a foundation that no one can shake. Because if someone else builds your life for you, they can take it away. But if you build it yourself, no one can touch it. You'll know how you got there. You'll know what it cost. You'll know the sacrifices you made, the battles you fought, the growth you earned. And that sense of ownership becomes your armor. It protects you from the noise. It gives you direction when things get confusing. And it becomes the internal compass that keeps you moving forward. Even when the road gets hard, when you decide that you are the one who will save you, you stop looking for exits and start creating solutions. You stop waiting for change. You start becoming the change. You stop hoping and start building. You stop doubting and start working. That's how people transform. Not by being rescued, but by rising up and refusing to stay where they are. By taking responsibility not just for their goals, but for their actions, their attitude, their habits, and their mindset. Because deep down, they know one thing. If it's going to happen, it's going to be because they made it happen. Discipline is not about grand gestures or dramatic changes. It's not about doing something extraordinary once in a while. Discipline is the quiet commitment to do what needs to be done day after day, whether you feel like it or not. It's the daily decision to stay on course, to keep moving forward, to honor your goals even when the results are not yet visible. And when discipline is practiced consistently over time, it produces something extraordinary. The compound effect is the invisible force working in the background of every disciplined life. It's the result of small, smart choices made consistently. It's the force that multiplies effort, builds momentum, and eventually turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. Most people underestimate this power because it works in silence. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't produce instant rewards. At first, it feels like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, every disciplined act is stacking up. Every repetition is building a foundation. Every early morning, every healthy meal, every hour spent learning, every dollar saved, it all adds up. Slowly, then suddenly people often wonder why things don't change for them. They try something for a week or two, and when they don't see results, they quit. They switch goals, change strategies, or worse, start blaming their circumstances. But the truth is, results don't come from what you do once. They come from what you do daily. You don't become successful by doing the right thing occasionally. You become successful by doing the right thing repeatedly, especially when it's boring, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. Discipline is not exciting, it's not glamorous, but it is powerful. It is the root system that supports every lasting achievement. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem unshakable, consistent, effective. What separates them is not luck or talent. It's discipline. It's their ability to keep promises to themselves. It's their refusal to let comfort win. It's their habit of doing the hard thing now so they can enjoy the easy life later. That's the trade. Discipline now for freedom later. Most people make the opposite trade. They choose comfort now and suffer later. But those who understand the compound effect of discipline know that every act of self-control is an investment in their future. Discipline isn't about being rigid or harsh with yourself. It's about being loyal to your vision. It's about recognizing that your future deserves more than your excuses. Every time you choose discipline, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. You're reinforcing the identity of someone who follows through, someone who respects their time, someone who doesn't break under pressure. And over time, this identity becomes unshakable. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to expect more from yourself. And that shift in self-image is where real transformation begins. The compound effect of discipline shows up in all areas of life, in your health, your finances, your relationships, your career. Skip one workout and nothing changes. Skip them for a month and your energy drops. Spend a little more than you earn today, and it feels harmless. Do it for a year and you're in debt. Avoid a difficult conversation once and it seems easier. Keep avoiding it and the relationship begins to rot. That's how discipline and its absence both compound. One leads to growth. The other leads to decline. And the choice is made in the smallest moments of the day. That's why it's so important to guard your habits, to protect your routines, to build systems that support the behavior you want. Because discipline doesn't live in the emotion of the moment. It lives in the structure you create for yourself. If you rely on motivation, you'll fail the moment things get hard. But if you rely on discipline, you'll keep going. Because it's not about how you feel. It's about what you've committed to. And commitment backed by action always wins over time. It's also important to remember that the early stages of discipline often feel unrewarding. You show up, you do the work, and it feels like nothing's changing. But that's just the nature of the compound effect. It doesn't pay in the beginning. It pays in the end. The early phases are an investment. You're building strength, endurance, resilience. You're proving to yourself that you can be trusted with the process. And eventually, that trust turns into confidence. Not the kind that needs applause, but the kind that says, I do what I say I'll do. That's a rare kind of confidence. And it's built through discipline. As you keep showing up, something else begins to happen. Your standards rise, your circle changes. Your results begin to align with your effort. You start attracting opportunities, not because you're lucky, but because you've become valuable. Discipline refines you. It sharpens your focus. It removes distractions. It helps you cut through noise and prioritize what really matters. And that level of clarity is a gift most people never experience because they're too distracted by the immediate and the easy. The beauty of discipline is that once it compounds, it frees you. What felt hard becomes automatic. What required willpower now runs on rhythm. And when your life runs on rhythms that support your goals, you no longer have to think your way into action. Action becomes the default. That's the power of discipline. It builds a foundation you can stand on. It builds habits you can trust. And eventually, it builds a life that reflects your highest standards instead of your lowest impulses. When you look at where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow, there's a bridge that connects the two. That bridge is not built by chance. It's built by intention. It's built by your decisions, your discipline, your habits, your willingness to take responsibility, and your refusal to wait for someone else to do the work for you. Today is not just a day. It's the foundation of your future. What you choose to do with this day is either moving you closer to your dream or further away from it. There is no neutral. Every action, every thought, every repeated behavior is stacking up. You are either building the life you want or settling into the life you said you didn't want. Your dreams, no matter how big, mean nothing without action. Your potential means nothing without effort. And the success you admire in others didn't come from luck. It came from doing what most people aren't willing to do every single day. It came from showing up, from choosing growth over comfort, from staying disciplined even when no one else was watching. That's how real transformation happens, slowly, quietly, one decision at a time. And it starts right now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when everything lines up perfectly, because it never will. The power is in today, this moment, this opportunity. And if you can master this one thing, the ability to act today, to choose wisely today, to discipline yourself today, then the tomorrow you want is not just possible, it's inevitable.